Welcome to this pick a card reading about uncovering some hidden truths that you are now ready to hear. Very excited to jump into your reading. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know that I'm doing some soul journey sessions. Instead of doing personal readings for people, I help you find the answers within. And so that way you won't have to use any pick a cards anymore, but you can rely on your own intuition. So if you want to learn how to do that, you can find the link below. Now let's jump right in. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. And so how this works is you get to choose one of these piles and then skip to the timestamps that are also listed below to skip to your reading, and then I will give you a channeled message. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. You can pause the video to choose your pile, and let's get started with your reading. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. These are the cards that I shuffled for you. So I just did your reading already, but it was kind of a lot of messages at the same time, pretty chaotic, and this energy is wild to me. Like, it's a lot. So I'm doing it again because I wanted to make sense for you. Like, I was trying to figure it out, but it just didn't really make sense. Now it makes sense to me. So what I'm seeing for you is that there are a lot of pieces falling into place for you, but that is pretty hard to admit. Like, what the puzzle pieces that are falling into place are, yeah, it's not really fun to acknowledge what has been happening. Like, there might be some lessons that you're learning about yourself, maybe things you could have done better, or I also feel like you need to step into this role of taking on more responsibility. And I also feel like it's taking on responsibility for your own life. And it's difficult to admit that to yourself. You already know that this is the case, and so you're willing to do it. But I feel like you need to take a few little steps in order to feel good about taking on more responsibility and really stepping in this role of more power. And it's pretty scary. I also heard what is so wrong about feeling empowered, right? And it might be that you are feeling imposter syndrome, like, am I good enough to have this much power? Am I deserving of this? And it's funny because you've got the card of yes. That's the first card you have. And what I've been feeling for the most part of this reading is just this questioning energy. You're questioning everything about yourself, about your life. If you're doing okay, you feel this responsibility, but that's also because you know that it's now time to take on more responsibility. So you want to do it right, but at the same time, you're kind of wanting to run away. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly fine. That's what I feel like. You do not have to, from one day, you do not have to like one day wake up and then feel these big shoes that you have not been wearing before and just take on all of this responsibility, right? I'm curious to know like what this responsibility entails, because that's not really clear to me. What is clear to me is that it has to do with taking responsibility for your own life. So it might be that you first you were like, life is happening to me, and in this phase of your life you're coming to terms with you are actually the only one that is in charge of your life. So you get to be the creator, you get to be the one that plants the seeds and reap the rewards. And it might be that you're learning about the law of attraction, about manifesting. And so you are seeing that through your thoughts, through your emotions, through everything that you're putting out into the world, like your energy, is what comes back to you, positive and negative, like we're always manifesting. That could be one of those facets, right? Because then you're like, whoa, it's really my responsibility for what I'm creating. Or it might be that you have gotten a new role and you just need to step up And that is pretty scary right now, because you might never have had this role before. And so how are you supposed to know how to do that, right? And so what I'm feeling is that you do not have to get it right away. And I feel like you disagree with that. I feel like you're like, nope, I have to do it right, like at the get-go. And I get that. Personally, like, I'm an overachiever, I'm a perfectionist myself, but is that realistic? Like, if you're truly honest with yourself, how big is the possibility that you'll get it right away? And that, I'm not saying that to discourage you, it's just like, and I'm also not saying like you won't get it right, but it's about giving yourself some love, some grace, some compassion. Because if you are just asking too much of yourself, this won't be a fun process. It is a fun process if you let yourself learn, if you let yourself explore, get inspired, try different things, and to not be so hard on yourself. If you're going to be like, I have to get it right away, and if not, I'm a failure, that's not fun. And that is also not sustainable, because then you're just gonna give up when it won't work out the first time, right? You're gonna beat yourself up and then you're at square one. And so how are you gonna move from there, right? So you have to, if this is something that you really want to do right, you have to give yourself the time to learn, explore, and build yourself up. It's not gonna be sustainable if you want to be perfect right away. And so think about how you want to go about this. Like, really think about it. How can you build yourself up? How can you be your own best supporter? Like, no one else is going to do it. You are with yourself for your whole life. Like, it's just you, right? So how can you be your own best supporter? Other people can support you, but at the end of the day, it's just you. Think about the long run, right? What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? What kind of expectations do you put on yourself? What is realistic? How can you help yourself grow? Because otherwise you're just going to put yourself down, which you have been doing for the longest time, I feel. It kind of feels like you have been questioning if you're good enough for the longest time and beating yourself up for the fact that you do not know certain things that you have never done before. But who the heck knows how to do things that you have never done before? Like, that's normal. You're normal. There's nothing wrong with you when you do not get the things that you're doing for the first time. Like, I wouldn't even say wrong. Like, what is wrong in the first place? Can you really fuck it up that much that it's wrong? Like, if you're trying, you're doing good enough. What is your own standard? I also feel like other people do not expect that much of you. It's just you. Of course, it's fun if people are like, oh, good job, like, I didn't expect you to be such a quick learner or get it right the first time. Like, of course, you would want to hear that. Everyone would, but it's not expected. And so, yeah, do your best, and you will. Like, with this energy, with this, what I'm feeling about what kind of person you are, you will try your hardest at doing the best you possibly can. But is it going to be sustainable in this way that you've been doing it? Because you're already good enough. You already can do it, but maybe it takes a little bit more time than you think is acceptable. And you'll get it right. Absolutely, you'll get it right, because this is the path that you're supposed to be on. I feel like you are not here, like, it's not a coincidence that you're on this path right now, that you're learning this. I feel like it's very much in divine order. I feel like this has all been leading up to this moment. And you've got 2 cards here of having spiritual guidance. So I do not know if you have a good bond with your, like, spirit guides, ancestors, the universe, however you want to call it. Personally, I get this card a lot. It says, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. And I might want to read a little bit from the book because I feel like that explains it the best. You're being called to stop micromanaging the universe and trust the breath of life. To surrender to the greater will that God has for you, to move from my will to thy will. When you surrender to the greater will of life, you begin dancing with the rest of life. When you bow to the great mystery and say, please use me, please show me the way, little by little you'll find yourself living your most fulfilling, authentic life. When you surrender your personal will, when you relinquish control and release the way you think things should be, and surrender to the greater will, you find yourself being led. You begin breathing the breath of life. When I got the booklet of this card deck, I also saw another card that said wait on it. So I know you don't want to hear this probably, but it's okay to wait. It's okay to take some time to think about how you want to do this and to not rush. I feel like you're rushing a lot. I feel like you are really trying to push yourself, like it has to be this way. And it doesn't have to be. Honestly, there are so many ways that this can work out. And so if you are only focused on how you think things should go, you're not opening yourself up to the other possibilities as well. And you already got what it takes, right? You already had yes. And we also have the card of balance, spirituality, and practicality here. And so can you let a little bit more like divine guidance in? Can you surrender a little bit more? Can you receive guidance from your guides? When we are patient, when we are still, so we are maybe in meditation or we are taking some time to just do nothing, maybe like cooking or cleaning or like when we are doing mundane tasks or like journaling, really taking some time to slow down and yeah, to just take some time to be open. That is when guidance can come through. Of course, you can do like a guided meditation or some journaling to really ask for answers or do a prayer of some kind, set an intention to receive some guidance. But like, are you doing that or are you just relying on your own power all the time? Because there are multiple ways of this going right. And there are also possibilities of things going even better than you can imagine it. There are so many options out there, like possibilities that you could not even think of right now. Those are out there as well. But if you close yourself off to it has to be like this, it has to go this way, you're not even going to see it, you're not going to receive it because you're not open to it. And so how can you ask for help? And you do not only have to ask for help from the universe, although they're so excited to jump in and help you. That's literally what I just heard. Like we're ready to jump in and take you by the hand. To lead you to where you need to go. Also, your ancestors are standing behind you, are ready to help. If you're not familiar with this help, like it just feels like a loving presence. I sometimes feel them like standing right beside me. Or like you do not even have to like really feel them energetically. You can always ask for help from your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels, whether you believe in them or not. Like I used to not believe in those as well. I used to like not believe in anything until I one day just tried it. And then I received help and then I kept asking for help and then some like ridiculous things happened to me. Like that just proved to me that guidance is all around. And I'm not going to convince you to believe in this stuff. Like try it out for yourself. See it as an experiment. Ask for help. Open yourself up to being led and see what happens. And I feel like for those of you who have already been doing this, you're being encouraged to write a letter to maybe like an ancestor that you ask for help a lot, or yeah, I feel like a grandma figure or something. Write a letter to them and ask for help, or like tell them what has been on your mind. And like you can always do this. Our ancestors are always with us in spirit. So, and they just want you to know that you're not alone. And they are like standing right beside you right now. They want to help in any way they can, and they want to let you know that you do not have to do it alone, and you can just talk to them the way that you used to do before. It's kind of funny because they're like, we're not any different now that we're in spirit. It doesn't mean that we're not the same person and you cannot talk to us anymore. Like, we're right here. Yeah, so just try it out, communicate with them. You can like talk it out, you can write it down and see what happens. It's a beautiful energy. It feels really, really special, really loving, like they're right here for you. And it's all gonna be okay. I feel like after hearing this, you're more relaxed now. And you get to like breathe a little bit deeper. And I want you to continue to do that. To slow down, to ask for help, to not get in your own way, to be open to miracles happening to you. Because you're just as worthy as anyone else to receive help, to receive miracles, and to make mistakes. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. I've made so many mistakes within my own business, within friendships, like relationships. That's the only way you learn, right? And it can be embarrassing and it can be such a pain in the, but you also know that that is the thing that makes you better. That's the thing that makes you expand more and like be a better educated human being. And we all want to be that, right? So I also feel like you're super supportive of other people and like telling them this stuff as well. Like you get to make mistakes, you get to like slow down and take your time, but you're not really seeing that you deserve the same thing, which is so unfair because you do. You already know this. You just have to give yourself permission, I guess. So I'm going to shuffle some tarot now to see if I can get any additional messages for you. I feel like you've been hurt in the past and you're saying to yourself, I cannot disappoint like someone or yourself anymore. And that's why you're being this hard on yourself. Because you've been hurt before. And so maybe someone has shamed you for not being the way that they expected you to be. I feel like they had way too high expectations of you. I feel like it's not even fair. And I feel like you're not seeing that. I feel like someone has been projecting their own insecurities onto you. And they have been saying like, I wish you were like this, but you're not, so you're not good enough for me. Or for this position or whatever. So I feel like this might have to do with like a friendship or a romantic relationship. But it hasn't been fair to you. I feel like they expected way too much of you. And I think that they have been pretty selfish in the sense that they did not want to admit or even talk about the fact that you were maybe not ready. Or it didn't feel right for you to be the way that they expected you to be. But they did not even want to talk about that. They did not want to listen to you. And that made you feel like you had to shut up. That you did not even have the right to say anything about how you truly felt or what you needed, or like that you would have to, you had to take a little bit more time in order to fulfill like their wishes, and that also feels like bullshit, right? Especially if this was a friendship or a romantic relationship. Why do we put so much expectations on each other? That's not why we should be in a relationship. Like, I do not want to put that much pressure on my friends or my partner. Isn't it like the most beautiful thing if we can see each other grow through their own seasons and try to understand like what they're going through and just accept them for who they are in that moment? And like, sure, I've let friends go that did not resonate with me anymore because they could not meet me at my level, which is normal too. I feel like we first need to be able to be our own best partner, right? We cannot rely on other people to give us what we need all the time. That's our own job first. And I feel like this person kind of made it your job, which it's not. It's their job to make themselves feel happy. It's you're putting way too much responsibility on one person to make them like your force of happiness. That's also not realistic. And that's also not fair. I hope you understand this because I feel like you did think that it was fair. So maybe this is all that you've known throughout your childhood. Maybe your parents made you responsible for their own happiness. That's also not fair. Especially in that kind of dynamic. That's pretty unhealthy, actually. Everyone is responsible of their own happiness. I think that is what you're learning maybe through this. Because there are also some really positive cards right here, like the Ace of Cups and the Empress. This talks about receiving, and this talks about having a full overflowing cup and being able to give because we're already content within ourselves. And that is a beautiful energy. This is where you are growing towards, and that is what you've been learning, because this is not fair. Not to them, because they are not going to feel fulfilled ever if they are relying on other people to make them feel happy. Like, they'll learn soon enough that that is not working. That's just a lost battle. And so you're learning this as well now. And I feel like you're learning to choose the people who are taking responsibility for their own happiness. And learning that that is the way that it should be. And it's yeah. And I'm almost getting a little bit emotional about this because it's like you're seeing that you do not have to work this hard. And it wasn't supposed to be this hard. And it's not. It's not your job to make everybody happy. It's your job to make yourself happy. And if anybody tells you that their expectations need to be met the way that they decide that they have to be met just because you're in some kind of relationship, doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, even if you're married, you are not responsible of their happiness. They are. And I just feel so much love, like, for you and from the universe for you, for getting through this. The universe is just thinking so highly of you, and I want you to know that you are so loved. You are so loved, and I feel like you're finally ready to love yourself the way that the universe loves you as well. To see yourself in a better light. To see how much you have to give and how good you've been doing all along. How good, like you were already good enough, and you're finally seeing that as well. That might be the truth that you are now ready to see. And that is a lot of responsibility. And taking responsibility for your own life is overwhelming, but it's also so beautiful. That is the energy that I'm feeling for you. You're seeing that you've already been good enough. You're leaving behind those who are making you responsible for their own happiness. And you're growing into this very mature person who is having a lot of love to give, but they also know their boundaries. They also know what their worth is. And they ain't taking no shit. And they're very powerful, and they're standing in their own power, and they're like leaders because they've seen a lot of things, and they can see what's right, they can see what's wrong, and they have a lot of balance. They give others a lot of grace because they see that others are just learning as well, and they cannot be perfect right away. And you also see that within yourself. So this whole process, like, you're learning to be more patient with yourself, to let your cup be overflowing, because you know when it's time to ask for help, you know when it's time to wait, and you know when it's time to take action. You're not doing this anymore. You're learning to leave this behind. And to realize, like, you're now realizing that you've always been good enough. I'm just going to leave you with that. I really hope that this helped, that this resonated. I really love this energy for you. I really love this reading for you because you're ready to be there for yourself now. And you're ready to receive help from the universe. And this is going to make you grow so much, but you've already grown so much. So let me know how this resonated. I really hope you have a great week. Be kind to yourself, take it easy. You're doing amazing, okay? Hope to see you in my next video. Bye! Welcome part 2 to your reading. So what truths are you now ready to hear? I feel like for you, you are ready to find some kind of gift within yourself that you kind of already knew that you had, but you didn't really believe in yourself enough to fully admit that you had this gift, if that makes sense. It's kind of like you are realizing that you're more awesome than you thought that you were, which I love for you because there is no need to downplay yourself. I feel like so many of us are trying to fit in and then overlooking our gifts and not paying attention to all the amazing facets and magic that we have inside of us, because it might feel like we're too much, or we are asking for attention, or yeah, something like that. And that is just, like, to me, that's bullshit, because I get so inspired by people who are doing their own thing, who are not afraid to show it, and like, they remind me of my own power. And to others that might feel like a threat, and that might be why you were more careful when it comes to exploring your gifts or talking about it or even thinking about it. But it feels like you are now in this place of, oh wait, actually I'm pretty good at that. And you're allowing yourself to admit that to yourself. But that's kind of scary in some form. And so it might be that this has a lot to do with how you're being perceived by others. Or you're scared that you're not good enough for this, or you're not ready to do something with this. I feel like you're more afraid of your own power than of jumping into exploring this gift more, because it's pretty fun if you're good at something, right? And so exploring it and learning about it is pretty easy when it's fun, right? If we're good at it, it just flows naturally. It isn't something that we have to, like, of course we need to put work into it, but we don't have to put that much work into it because it just feels kind of natural to us. That is the feeling that we get when we have found like this gift that we have. For example, I am an artist as well, and so I love to paint, and I just let whatever wants to be created, and so it just kind of naturally flows. And I didn't really know that I had this skill until a few years ago when I just tried it out and I was like, okay, this looks like pretty good, I don't know. And then I just went to paint some more and just have fun with it. I didn't really put that much pressure on myself, and that is how I kind of developed my own style. And so that is kind of similar to what you are exploring about yourself. It doesn't have to be art, it can be anything, really. It's just something that you're really good at, and other people are bound to see this about you as well. And that is what is making you nervous, because then what? It's kind of like you are programmed to fear your own gifts, your own power. It's kind of like you will be put down if you are too loud or if you are good at something. But by denying our gifts, we're not able to be true to ourselves. We're not able to fully stand in our own authentic power. And so we are stepping away from a part of ourselves. We are not grounded within our own authenticity. When we are denying a part of ourselves, we're not really grounded in reality, in our here and now. We are kind of pushing away a part of ourselves that longs to be there. And if we nurture it and if we embrace it, we become more whole, right? And so through doing this, you are kind of dissociating a little bit, or you are not fully using your full potential, and so you are denying a part of yourself that longs to be there. And if you do so, you will feel more stable, more in your power, more it's easier to stand in your own authenticity. And I feel like people already know that you have this skill within you. It's just that you are scared to commit to it, or to see what happens if you commit to it. It's like I feel nervous for how other people will react. It kind of makes you feel very vulnerable, but it is something that is meant to be there. It's something that you're meant to do. You also have the card of the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence. See here, rare gifts. You were born with this gift for a reason, and I'm not saying you should do something with it, but you shouldn't deny who you are and what you're good at, and push away a side of yourself that really wants to be seen. At least like acknowledge it yourself. I feel like if you do that, you free yourself. And I also feel like other people already know and see this light within you, within this gift that you have. It's funny because Spirit is telling me like it's only you who doesn't see it. Like how powerful you are. Other people already know how powerful you are. You also have the card of the warrior woman. And it says, have you answered your deepest calling? And then also transformation. Also interesting to note is that it's saying here things are changing at cell level, deep healing. And this is the card of, like the explanation of the book of this card is like cell healing as well. I feel like when you are admitting to yourself that this is something you want to do, that this is a route you want to take, like you are admitting to yourself that you're really good at something, or you've discovered a new part of yourself and you stop hiding it. And I feel like you've already been in the process, right, of doing this. I feel like you are going to feel so much better, so much more in alignment with your soul, because it just feels really good. It just is a part of you. And so it's like you're remembering something. And you do not have to worry about other people because they already see. They already know that you're like really good at this, that you're already good enough. And so you also have the card of what is not in alignment or needs change. And when you're in alignment, you are doing the things that light you up, that are for you. And so if you're doing something that is not in alignment with your soul, it feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like it's for you. And so what is not in alignment and what is in alignment, and I feel what you're learning is what is in alignment with your soul. You're fully exploring that part of yourself now. And the more that you get to know this part of yourself, the more that you explore it, the more that you are fully stepping into it, like this warrior woman that you already are. And you start to use it, the more you feel alive, the more you feel like you are standing in your own power. And that might not always be easy, because there will be people who will feel threatened by it, and you do not want to make anyone feel insecure through doing what you love to do, what is like literally for you. But there will also be people who will feel inspired by you. And wouldn't you rather like inspire people and just focus on that, right? Because you already have this gift, you already know it, other people already see it, so there's no need to hide it. Like if you want to, you can. I'm not going to say like fully step into it if you're not ready. Only do what feels good to you, right? What you are comfortable with, what is safe for you. But eventually, it's so much better to fully step into your power and realize like the powerhouse that you are. Because from that place, you get to move mountains. You get to really tap into your desired reality and start shaping it. Because the more you follow what is for you, what is in alignment with your soul, the more that your soul will start to speak to you and will start to communicate to you what is for you, and create this path of alignment of just things that really fit you and feel really right to you. And the more that your life will become like a blessing. This is my experience, at least. And that is not easy, because there will be people who are trying to walk this path of least resistance, of what other people think is right, and have been doing like generation upon generation. But it doesn't mean that that is the path necessarily that is best for them, right? It's just what they have been mirrored. Like their parents have mirrored that, and their parents have mirrored that, and it's just like that is not necessarily their path. And so Spirit is saying like you have just uncovered a part of your path, and you can like choose to go this route, you can choose not to go this route, you can choose to do whatever you want, but follow what feels good. Now that you have uncovered this power within yourself, like other people already see it. And so now if you want to, you get to fully step into it and see what else you get to create and what is out there for you. And so I'm going to shuffle some tarot to see if we can get more messages on that, and maybe also like what you can create if you follow this path. Can I get some more messages for a pile 2? What else? Ooh. There we go. I feel like you already know that you want to take this path. It's just that it's very overwhelming and you're pretty tired. And actually what you would like, and I also feel like this is like the past and this is like the future energy. You just need a little bit of guidance, of sweetness, of softness, grace, humility. And it's just been pretty tough, I would say. I feel like discovering all of this and learning how to step into your power, which you might not have felt like you've been doing before, like truly. It's like a shock to the system. And on one hand, I feel like you might be distracting yourself and trying to make things look easier than they actually are. And on the other hand, I feel like you might be staying a little bit too much in like a victim mentality of, wow, this is hard. And like that's a little bit of tough love, but I don't mean it in a mean way, because the Tower speaks of foundations that are not stable, crumbling, so you can build something that is a sturdy foundation. And I feel like you had to come to terms with you being in charge of your own happiness, you being the vessel for your own change. And like, if you're used to letting life just kind of happen to you and just respond to life the way that it comes towards you, like, we're all learning to take more charge of our own life, right? We all used to do it like that. And if you suddenly feel like you have all this responsibility now for your own life, that sucks. For a lot of people, that's kind of a rude awakening, and that's literally what a spiritual awakening is, right? It feels like this dark night of the soul. I can feel like dark night of the soul type of energy here as well. It's just a rude awakening. And I'm not saying that to blame you, because I've been through this a few times myself. I know how fucking hard it can be. And so staying in this victim mentality is pretty normal. Also, trying to make things look better than they actually are is pretty normal as well. But how long are you going to stick with this? Because this is also a possibility for you. And like, this is a woman who has cultivated a lot of joy, who is very, very sturdy in her own beliefs, in how she perceives life, in how she sees others, and how she sees herself. She's very stable. And you get to grow into that type of person as well, and you already are. But what I'm seeing is that you are kind of letting the situation get too much control over your life. And what I mean by that is that you can do so much more for yourself, because you already see the gifts that you have and that it feels good. And so you're kind of waiting for something to happen where you get to step into that role to get the permission. You're waiting for the permission for it to feel good, to take back your power. But I'm wondering what will make that happen. Who will have to give you that permission? Is there someone that you're waiting on to say, like, I've been seeing what you've been trying to do, that's really amazing, like, go for it? Or someone who you feel like might get insecure by you doing that, being like, no, it's okay, like, I'm in control of my own happiness. But I feel like that might not happen. Because a lot of us are just so consumed with our own problems, our own insecurities, that we're not even seeing. Like, I don't think, if there is a specific person that you are wanting to get permission from, I don't think that they're really seeing what you need from them. And I also don't think that you should maybe like expect that from them, because you are the only one who gets to give yourself permission. And I definitely get that you want to get their permission. I definitely get it, because we have been taught to ask for permission for literally anything from the moment that we like grow up. We need to ask our parents for permission. We need to ask our teachers for permission, yada, yada, yada. And so when it comes to creating our own dream life, we now like are waiting for someone to give us permission, but that is not the way that it works. But we have been brought up to believe that it is. And so Spirit is saying, stop waiting. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to do what literally is for you, what is going to make you so, so happy. And when you're stepping into this power, into your like soul growth, I'm hearing, you get to find fulfillment within yourself. You get to be more stable, because you are learning that the power is within you. And if we cultivate that power, if we use that power, and we can really like feel into it, we know that we are good enough. We know that we are on the right path, right? I feel like what you've been uncovering is like the right path for you. And like, take what resonates, right? Leave the rest. But I feel like you knowing your own power is going to make your life so much easier, and is going to get you into this energy. And so don't downplay yourself. Don't pretend like it's nothing, because it's pretty fucking special. and others can already see that. So if you are downplaying yourself, it feels like if you are stepping into that power, other people are going to be like, finally, because they're already seeing it. And so you do not have to wait and ask for permission. What you're doing is you are building yourself up again. You are literally changing your life, and I feel like that is going to catapult you into a whole new energy that is way more stable, that is going to make you feel so good and appreciated, and might also give you a lot of like monetary gain or abundance in some form. Like maybe you meet new people, or like you get the resources that you need to grow even more within this thing that you're doing. Like I just said, soul growth. Like if we are taking the path that is right for our soul, like it's in alignment with our soul, and you follow that path, you only get more of those soul growth moments. So you get to discover even more of which resonates with your soul, with your path, like the things that are for you. And so keep doing what you're doing. Like take your time, but don't downplay yourself, because you're so much more valuable than you think you are. Others already see it. And like also, if you're scared of someone saying that you're so lame, or for doing this thing that you really love to do, or they're just not appreciative of what you are wanting to do, like you are a pretty compassionate and thoughtful person as well, right? You want to cheer other people on. If it's something is for you, then like with all means go for it. And so if someone is not reciprocating that energy towards you, maybe they are not the right person for you, right? Surround yourself with people who are genuinely happy for your happiness, because you deserve that. And anything less is just not going to help you in the long run. And so don't stay too long where you are not appreciated. And so I hope you get to feel this power that you already have within you. I hope that you get to enjoy it and explore it more and feel really good, because this is for you. You are this powerhouse, and you deserve the healing that you get to explore when you really fully step into this new path that you've been exploring. And so I wish you all the best. Let me know in the comments how this resonated. Know that you're already good enough, and you so got this. I hope you have an amazing week. Bye. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading for What Truths Are You Ready to See? Okay, so I'm seeing here the card of your commitment is being tested. I feel like whatever you've been doing, you just need to push through it. And I'm not one for saying stuff like push through it. I feel like we need to pay attention to what we need and treat ourselves with love and care. But I also feel like you've been working towards something and you're very close to achieving it, and now you're starting to doubt yourself. But there's no need to do that. This is the card of things like taking off. I feel like that is, you know that this is coming, you know that this is going to happen, but somewhere within you, or maybe someone who is criticizing you from like the outside is telling you like maybe you shouldn't, or make you feel like you're not good enough, but you have this power within you. And this is showing me that you've got what it takes, and you've been already showing the universe like that you've been able to really step up and fill these shoes that you are, like this path that you're growing towards. You're really doing it. I feel like for all of the piles, there is this energy of doubting yourself. I feel this very nervous energy, but I also feel this very calm, collected energy, because you already know that like success is right around the corner. It doesn't feel like this is such a surprise. I feel like you can like see the good results already, but somehow you are just thinking, like not thinking highly of yourself. There is a card here of get grounded. So take a look at what is really important. Take a look at all of the things that you've accomplished so far, what you have been doing, and how much of that has been going right. Because I feel like you've learned so much on this path, and so you deserve to reap these rewards. Like the journey has been exactly how it should have been, and you are now at this level of like being good enough already. There is like no doubt that this is for you, that this is going to work out. And so you just gotta believe a little bit more in yourself. You just gotta be patient with yourself, but also feel that you are good enough. And like I said, like reflect on the past and see all the things that have been going right. And also see that you're more capable than you might think that you are. You might be underestimating yourself. I definitely feel like that is the case here. It's just that you need to just keep going a little bit longer. Like you have the card of your commitment is being tested. You have the card of this like spiral going inwards. This is like a shape that you know is going to go a certain way. Like you already been doing all the work that is going to lead you to your success. It's just that you need to stop doubting yourself. Is there another truth that is now ready to... Yeah, you just need to realize how awesome you are. You might also want to check out pile 2, because that is the same message that I got for them as well. And I feel like you are seeing that. It's like... It's very conflicting. On one side, there's like this nervous energy, you doubting yourself, but then there's also this energy of like, I see where I'm going. I see that like the rewards are very close. And I know that I have, like, this is all me standing in my power. And all you just need to do is believe in yourself, like ground yourself, do the things that make you happy, be in nature, to just relax, to let this sink in, to reflect. And from this place, you can really easily allow yourself to step into this new phase of reaping the rewards and like closing this chapter and going into a new one. And to accept that you have this power within you. Like, I find these two cards pretty similar. This one is saying Pillar of Light, you are the oracle, and this is one that says the intelligence of the universe lies within you, child of the cosmos. They are both like harnessing their power. And this is you, and this has been you. It's just that your commitment is being tested and you are doubting yourself a little bit. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, reaping rewards, strength. Ooh. Are there any other messages that you want pile 3 to know? Is there anything that they're not seeing? Okay. Okay, so these 3 are kind of a confirmation to what I've been saying, and these 2 are something that you're not seeing. Oh. And this card just flew off my table, so we'll take that one as well. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, like, this is the judgment card, and I'm taking it very literally. I feel like you're afraid of being judged. This is the card of things being better than they actually are, and I feel like you are afraid of this. You are afraid of, like, what other people will think when you step into this next level, although you already know that you will. And then you're afraid of what other people will think of you. And then you're afraid that it won't be as good as you want it to be. And I'm very out of breath for some reason. And so maybe you were just running to get to where you want to be and very much doubting yourself. But I also got this card but this card fell out, and this is a very stable person. Pentacles is connected to the element of earth, which is very stable. And then also like Pentacles means reaping rewards, but also like abundance and a strong foundation. And so this is you. This is who you are growing to be, but this is already who you are as well, because you have this whole journey that you've already been on, which has made you very strong as a person. See, strength. There's all this wisdom that you also have cultivated. Like, you've got 2 knights. And I feel like you're very trustworthy. But the only thing that is standing in the way is yourself. You're doubting yourself. You're doubting your own achievements. You are doubting your own worth. While you've already been doing what it takes to get to where you want to be. It's funny, I recently saw a reading where the reader was like, you have been pretending to be this person, but the whole time you already kind of were them. So you were playing pretend to like fill these shoes, but at the same time other people already saw you as that person. And so I feel like that is somewhat of a similar message that resonates with this pile as well. It's like you're downplaying yourself a little bit, while you also know that you are capable of doing it. It's a very back and forth kind of thing, but I just want to remind you that this is where you're going and this is who you already are. You already have what it takes. I'm going to shuffle one more time because I feel like I've been pretty much saying the same thing. Is there anything else that pile 3 is not seeing that they should know about? I'm going to take this one. There are 2, okay. Yeah, it's okay to feel this back and forth energy. I feel like it's pretty normal to doubt yourself. I think that that is also showing that you are taking this very seriously. And you should know that it's okay to, like, if this is like a really mental struggle, it's okay to be vulnerable, to talk about it with someone, maybe a professional, because that will really help you. That might help to put things into perspective, and that might make you feel more grounded, because I still feel very out of breath and like you're running. You have been running, and like your nervous system is on all the time because you're so going back and forth with doubting yourself. And it gets to be easier than that. I saw this ad for BetterHelp, which is like a therapy service, and this woman was saying, like, when we are sick or we have something physical, we go to the doctor. But when it comes to things that are mentally, like our mental health, there are professionals for that too, right? You have like doctors, but then they are therapists. And we forget that that is just as important. Like, we do not go to the therapist when we are struggling with our mental health as much as we go to the doctor for our physical health. Well, it's just as important. Like, just because you are like surviving, you get to like still achieve a lot while you are struggling mentally. It doesn't mean that you are okay, right? It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to get help when it comes to your mental health. It doesn't mean that you have to push through all the time. It's funny that I said push through. So at the beginning I was like, you just need to push through a little bit more to reap the rewards. But I also think that I already said, like, that's not something that I usually say because I feel like you need to take care of yourself. So yes, push through because you already are capable, but also you deserve to get the help you need if you feel like you want to feel a little bit more relaxed and a little bit less in this back and forth energy, to trust yourself more, to trust this process more, and to reflect on what has been going right. You need to give your nervous system a break. Yeah. Just know that you deserve more peace. You deserve the success that is coming towards you. And you deserve to take some time off. You deserve to treat yourself, to do the things that really help you fill your own cup, to breathe. Please breathe. Yeah. And to believe in yourself, because you've already been doing so good. I feel like this represents all the wisdom that you've already cultivated, all the like amazing experiences that you've had with people while you were maybe like doing this thing that you were wanting to do. Like, there are people who are very happy with you, who respect you for what you do, and you've already had some really great results, is kind of what I'm feeling. There is a lot that you get to be proud of already. So don't forget that. And also know that you already have what it takes. You've already had what it takes, and you have what it takes. So I really hope that that resonated, that helped. I feel a little bit less out of breath now, so I hope that you've been taking some deep breaths with me during this reading. If not, maybe do that after this. Like, take care of you. You do not have to do it all alone. And there are people out there who can help you see things more clearly, so you get to relax a little bit more and to just enjoy, because there are many good things coming towards you. You've been doing so well, and so make sure that you get to really enjoy them when the time comes, and to not like rush towards the next thing because you don't feel good enough. You get to enjoy what you've been working on, and you get to see how amazing you've already been doing, and that you're already good enough, because you really you are. So I hope that that lands with you. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.